Motor racing is essentially a science. It's about nuts and bolts, numbers on lap charts, and stopwatches. But sometimes other influences seem to play a part, because at its core, it's a scientific pursuit centered around the intricacies of machinery, lap charts, and precise timekeeping. Yet there are instances where external forces appear to exert influence. Fate and coincidence often cast a shadow over tragic narratives in the history of the sport, and perhaps nowhere is this more emotional than in the story of Albert Francois Sever, whose untimely demise occurred in 1973. For those who don't know, this is who Sever was. Early life. He embarked on his journey in the competitive realm of French Formula 3, lacking substantial funds to support his endeavours, and while driving prowess was evident, his knowledge of racecraft and vehicle preparation was limited, compounded by the challenge of managing an outdated 65 model Alpine, the prize he had acquired. Despite these hurdles, he navigated from one race to another. Notably, during a desperate moment when he required a tyre for his worn-out trailer, he resorted to taking a wheel from a Mini parked outside a police station. Despite the demanding efforts, tangible results were elusive, and his strained relationship with his frustrated parents, whom he seldom saw in 1967, added to the challenges. Undeterred, he persisted, and in 1968 he secured modest sponsorship from a fire extinguisher company. With this support, he invested in a new Techno, making a turning point. Suddenly, everything fell into place as he began winning races across Europe. In a gripping showdown, he narrowly clinched the French title against future F1 race winner Jean-Pierre Jabouille, subsequently regaining his father's respect. Transitioning to F2 in 1969 with Techno Works backing, Sever won a notable slipstreaming battle at Reims and made his Grand Prix debut in the F2 class at the Nürburgring in August. The momentum carried into 1970, and in June, a dream opportunity materialized. Johnny Servoz Gavin, hindered by an eye injury and lacking confidence, abruptly announced his retirement from Tyrrell, leaving the team in urgent need of a second driver for their star, Stewart. Though the interim March 701 proved to be less than stellar, Sever quietly debuted at Zandvoort and earned his first point at Monza. Not overshadowing fellow rookies Emerson Fittipaldi and Clay Regazzoni, Sever's steadiness and willingness to learn from Stewart made him the perfect fit for Tyrrell. This marked the beginning of a unique teacher-pupil relationship between Jackie and Francois, seldom witnessed in the sport. Sever's original name was Goldenberg, tracing back to his Jewish heritage. His father, a World War II French resistance member, and his mother changed their children's last name to Sever to avoid capture and deportation to concentration camps during the Nazi occupation. Starting as a teenager, Francois, under the name Sever, engaged in street racing with his friends, using his mother's Vespa scooter. By the age of 29, he had accumulated an impressive record in Formula 1, securing 13 podium finishes and 89 points. As only the second Frenchman to win an F1 race, he achieved third place in the 1971 championship. But none could have prepared the F1 world for what was about to happen. Before the crash, in the lead-up to the qualifying session for the 1973 US Grand Prix at Watkins, Glen, Sever drew attention to a series of numerical alignments. October the 6th marked the date. He piloted the Tyrrell 006, adorned with the race number 6, and occupied the cockpit with the DFV number 066. He regarded it as his auspicious day, a golden opportunity to clinch his first pole position in Formula 1. Another significant number played a role during that fateful weekend. Known to only a select few, it was the 100th Grand Prix for Sever's close friend, teammate and mentor Jackie Stewart, an event that would be the triple world champion's final race. Having spent 3.5 years in Stewart's shadow, Sever was poised to ascend as Tyrrell's team leader in the upcoming season, with the world seemingly at his feet. Crash. However, misfortune intervened with cruel timing. Pushing the limits in his pursuit of pole position, Sever lost control, colliding with a poorly secured barrier with such force that his blue Tyrrell was violently torn apart. France's highly regarded racing driver, anticipated by many to be the country's first world champion, met his end instantly due to grievous injuries. The devastated Stewart never made that 100th start. Sever's mechanic, Joe Ramirez, vividly remembers the shock among engineers when DFV 066, being dismantled at Cosworth, inexplicably fell from a bench. In a curious twist, One might wonder if Sever inadvertently sealed his fate back in 1966 at the nascent stages of his racing career. During that year, his then girlfriend, Nanu van Melderen, consulted a clairvoyant. 7 years prior, the same clairvoyant had predicted a future relationship for Nanu, which indeed materialized when she met Sever. On this subsequent visit, the clairvoyant prophesied that her beloved would achieve tremendous success, but that their paths would eventually diverge due to his profession. Despite initial skepticism, Nanu shared these revelations with Sever, prompting him to seek out the clairvoyant himself. Unaware of any prior connection with Nanu, the clairvoyant reiterated the same foretelling to Sever. His sister Jacqueline recalled the meeting between Nanu and Francois, saying how Nanu liked very much to see a medium, and as a joke, Francois accepted to go one day. The woman said that he will have great success and that many good things will happen. But there was one startling revelation that came as news to Sever. Nanu had heard it too, but had preferred not to tell him. The woman stopped speaking, said Jacqueline, and then she said Francois would not see the beginning of his 30th year. And he said, "No problem, I will be the world champion before then." He laughed because he didn't believe this woman. Legacy and aftermath. When he died at Watkins, Glen, Francois Sever was 29 years old. Tall and with looks that set many a female heart racing, Sever made an indelible impression on all who knew him. Friends remember him with great affection, and it's perhaps fitting that, like James Dean, he's frozen in people's minds as a youthful, dashing, blue-eyed charmer. Sever's death reverberated across the world, leaving a profound impact on the racing community. The aftermath of Sever's demise marked a turning point in Formula One, prompting a collective commitment to safety. The death toll in the sport during that era was already alarmingly high, and Sever's tragedy became a catalyst for change. Jackie Stewart, deeply affected by the loss, chose to retire from Formula One, dedicating himself to advocating for safety improvements. This commitment led to significant regulatory changes throughout the 1970s, addressing car design, fire safety equipment, driver attire, helmet standards, track design, and licensing requirements. Stewart's efforts culminated in the appointment of neurosurgeon Sid Watkins, known as Professor Sid, as Formula One's safety and medical delegate in 1978. And Professor Sid headed an innovative medical team that travelled to races globally, implementing safety measures and saving lives in future crashes. The sustained focus on safety measures ultimately transformed Formula One, and today the sport has not witnessed a fatality in years. Francois Sever is now remembered as a tragic yet pivotal figure in Formula One history. Described as the enigmatic jewel of the Formula One circuit, his untimely death contributed significantly to the ongoing commitment to safety in the sport. Reflecting on Sever's legacy, racing legend Mario Andretti emphasizes that his death was not in vain, crediting him with advancing the cause of safety in Formula One. Francois Sever could and probably would have been a world champion, and he would have been a serious title challenger in 1974. He was as good as Jackie Stewart by the end, and for me, that's a fairly good endorsement of driving talent. May he rest in peace, and at least his death brought upon many safety changes, to the point where it's now been almost 10 years without a single death in F1. Thanks so much for watching this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below.